Thanks for coming back. Talking about 2012 and how to protect yourself. The earlier video talks about location away from rising seawater, primarily. But you also have to think about, if you're going to move away from high heat areas, and this is the long-term consideration, you also have to think about precipitation, rainfall. As I said in the earlier video, the weather pattern to the south of you is coming to you soon. Sometimes, and because it's going to be warmer permanently, after all the 2012 has finished cycling, it will stay warm. It's not going to go back to what it is now. So you have to think about where you're going to move, if it's going to have enough rainfall to support crops. It's true that the way that heat gets transferred from the equator area, equatorial areas, to the north and south pole is through water carried by clouds. That's why we're seeing an increase in storm activity and thunderstorms. So, and we also are going to have a drop in the water in the rivers that depend on snowpack for their volume during the summer. There isn't going to be some snowpack. So the rivers will dry up in the summertime. So you have to ask yourself, is that do I want to be near areas that's going to have water shortages again? But I wanted to go on, briefly about the structure that's going to help you survive. It doesn't do you any good to move to an area that's going to be 140 degrees in the daytime and 120 at night if you can't survive that temperature for a month or so. And really the only thing that gives you long-term protection over that length of time is something like a cave. So if I'm planning to move somewhere where I can build an adobe structure with walls, 3, 4, 5 feet thick, and have it partially down in the ground, at least 5 feet. Why is that? Because the earth itself is a heat sink. So if you have a structure that doesn't allow the temperature, the hot temperature, to come through the walls, because the walls have a mass of temperature and there's a connection to the ground, it will cool down the walls as fast as they're heating up. Probably 5 feet. I don't know exactly. But I know how to build it. I'm going to build a dome and use straw and mud and steel rebar. Okay, the steel rebar will hold the adobe in place if the adobe stays dry. So I'm going to have to cover it with a waterproof covering. But so is a house that you're in above ground going to help you survive? Well, maybe if you have air conditioning, but what if the electricity goes out? Okay, so then you're going to be in that temperature. Maybe you have backup. So you have to plan this very carefully. and actually do a dry run. You know, you're going to get a couple of shots at it this December and next December. But then going to come 2012. Because it's a sine wave, the temperature is going to bump up very quickly. So maybe just this winter to do the test. And you'll actually have to see if it works next year for real. You want to have water. You want to have electricity. You don't want to depend. You have to make it through a couple of weeks to a month. Have a lot of water. Water is something that can absorb a lot of energy. So if you have a deep pool that's 10 feet deep, the water will stay cool. Maybe you can use that to circulate inside the house with a radiant heater. Different things. But you want to be able to have a system that will keep you cool enough to live. And I was talking in the previous video, maybe you want to be in an area with like-minded people for two reasons. One is that there are some features of municipalities that you need to have. Okay? It's cheaper to have a shared sewer system, for instance. It's cheaper to have a bigger generator than it is 10 small ones. And I guess the thing that I need to do is try to set up a center for people to come and try and meet other people in their immediate area or where they're going to move to, things like that. And this is going to be a desperate time. You need to think this through very carefully. Thank you.